Hello, and welcome to Hams Radio. Whether you are a new or returning viewer, I just wanted to say thank you for your support. I really do appreciate every single one of you. If you are new to my channel is all about finding a life after trauma. I will be showing the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to my own healing journey in hopes that it will help you with yours. If that sounds like something that would add some positivity to your life, I suggest or I encourage you to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell so you don't miss out on what I'm doing over here. So today, I kind of wanted to just do some readings from my journal and kind of just reflect on them. This will be some things back from September, so not very long ago, but maybe talk about shift in perspective, shift in where I'm at when it comes to things that I wrote down 6 weeks ago. So we're gonna start. And I was reading it today, and it was kind of cool just seeing the difference in what I wrote. So this is from 12 September. I am not sure what happened to me today. I felt at times my patience would disappear and be replaced by intense waves of extreme frustration and almost inability to do much other than cry. I suppose similar to the feeling the other day with a friend when I got overwhelmed. I was low on patience, waiting for someone to be ready. I had to distract myself to try to get me not to feel extreme anxiety or irritability, but nothing was really working. It got better when I was able to smoke, but I still felt that irritability. During when I was watching one of the monk videos, the one of the Buddhist monks I was watching on YouTube, and for the first time, he annoyed me a lot. So maybe I've learned what I need from him. Almost can't believe that though. I did react really weird to my sister saying nothing else is true. I had spoken to her about something on religion or spirituality, and it was just, I don't know. During that point of time, I was still sorting stuff inside of me, so I really became reactive to some things she had said, and I wasn't able to remove myself from the situation in a timely manner, that I got extremely overwhelmed. But I was still learning. I'm still learning how to know when my done point is, when I need to stop, remove myself from the situation. Maybe, like with everything I'm doing, something's got to make sense, and I can't fathom a God being so unforgiving that something as silly as a label is going to make the difference between eternal damnation versus salvation. I thought it was about my relationship with Him. Why do I have to? And then I forgot what I was going to write, so there's nothing. After the conversation with my sister, the monk seemed fake, as if I could see something now. I haven't been very kind today in thought, emotions, or in behavior. Maybe it is this PMSing shit that I've never had before. But even when I caught myself, I didn't always check or change it. I let too many things go today. I felt like my emotions were everywhere. Still really think my reaction to that conversation was super weird. I needed to be alone when I got home, and 100% ignored it. So I can feel my own struggle as I'm reading this, but I can't, I mean, I can still relate to it, but I can't at the same time. I can definitely see that I was in a different spot even 6 weeks ago or whatever. This was 2 months ago. 6 weeks? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Definitely feels different. There was another one I wanted to read. Wasn't really good on keeping dates. So this is from a day. What days? Oh, this is probably the day after. Because the next entry is 14 September. Today was very interesting. From about 6:30 a.m. to about 3 p.m., I would burst into sobs as if I was grieving very intensely. I learned of a friend's death yesterday. Maybe that hit me way harder than expected. Or now that I'm beginning to heal, I'm being able to process her death in a more healthy way. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off. Maybe it's all the grief that couldn't come up before. Grief for all the pain I endured for so long. All I do know is the pain was very intense and it hurt deep. Like the loss was so immense and so personal and feels lost forever. Whatever the loss was, even now I cannot fight back the tears. This was the week. I think this was a day or two prior to me figuring out I had borderline personality disorder, and everything inside my unconscious, everything was just being jumbled up. I think I write about um, how when I'm pulling stuff from the unconscious into the conscious, so as I'm really looking at my behavior and really trying to figure out why I do things, and my unconscious behavior now is no longer unconscious. It becomes conscious, which means it's now a choice for me. Um, and I go back to say, as I'm ripping stuff out of my unconscious, it's as if it's making stuff kind of jumble around in my unconscious as well, kind of disrupting things. And I think that was just really, really big. I believe during that week, a lot of my ego died. And when I refer to ego, I'm referring to all these false beliefs that I have about myself, about others, about the world. It's the voice that makes me feel superior, whether it's judging or inferior. They are better than me. Um, Sorry, I lost my point. They are. Dang. It gets annoying sometimes, to be honest. Because I know I'm going somewhere. I know I'm going somewhere with this, and I'm excited about it. It just doesn't stay in my brain. Not always. I mean, not always, but sometimes it leaves me. Talking about the unconscious. Oh, ego. So the ego I refer to as this false self, this false image that you have of yourself and the others around you. It is what makes you feel superior. It's what makes you feel inferior. It's what else does it do? It feeds those, it kind of gets you stuck in those negative thought patterns, those negative emotional patterns. It's what creates anxiety and depression and pain. It's also what creates that deep, deep fear of not being good enough, fear of not being worthy, fear of needing more, needing more, needing more, needing more, or fear that you're just not good enough. So you're trying to search for your self-worth in all of these things outside of you. It's that drive that makes you say, Once I do this, I will be happy. Once I have that, I will feel complete. Once I, and fill that in for yourself, whether it's buy that car that I've always wanted, um, find someone to marry, have a family, get that promotion, have that dream job. Lost it. But my point being, I have been learning to identify when it is my true self. When I say my true self, I'm referring to my essence of a human being. I am not talking about any behaviors or anything that is created from trauma, which I believe my whole entire life is just all of that. But I also believe everyone has trauma based behaviors, whether they know it or not. I believe you have trauma behavior, whether you think you do or not, whether you see it. That's just what I believe. Everyone has certain set patterns developed when they went through a time in their childhood, or maybe it was during a disaster, that allowed them to survive. And this is perceived or real. So it could just be perceived. And as a child, when you don't know what's going on around you, you can perceive what adults may look at as, oh, non-traumatic at all. As a child, your brain will interpret certain things as trauma regardless. And it may not be a big deal to the adults, it may not be a big deal to you, but the impact on younger minds is huge. And so we've all developed, myself included, we've all developed coping mechanisms, small, large, harmful, non-harmful, in ways to cope with these maladaptive behaviors just to survive. And the problem is when we don't get out of those behaviors, and we still treat everyone as a threat. We still treat everything as a threat. We treat everyone as our competition, some people that we need to beat in order to survive, when in actuality, we should be able to be thriving, be who we are. Because I believe in the center of everyone, everyone has that inner peace, everyone has that joy inside of them. It's just being covered up by all the noise, all the trauma noise, all the ego noise, all your mind noise that includes the emotions and the triggering and the trauma reactions and all of that. Once you're able to kind of get through all of that, I believe everyone has the joy and inner peace. They just have to find it. Well, not find it, they have it. They just have to feel it. That's all. I know sounds bonkers to some of you. I know that. But it goes all in line with be kind to yourself, support yourself, have your own back. And also, don't be a dick. Recognize or be compassionate, have empathy. And once you start seeing your worth and the joy that you hold and the inner peace that you can have, at least for me, I started seeing that in everybody else. I started seeing them as worthy as well, regardless of their actions, regardless of what they're doing, regardless of what they have, regardless of how much money, how their social standing, regardless. I'm starting to see everyone as just another human, and not just another human, equal. I'm not superior. I'm not inferior to anybody. No one else is superior to anybody or inferior to anybody. We are all equals. And I know I've spoken about forgiveness and and my ability to not ability, but kind of just go beyond the pain, go beyond the attachment I've had being a victim, the attachment I had, the identity. I wrapped my identity into the abuse. I wrapped my identity into it. And just being able to let go has been huge. And forgiveness is huge. That's why it's just melted away. People that I have held some anger and resentment towards, a lot of my abusers. I've held a lot of negative feelings and energies inside my own body because of what they did to me. Forgiveness is letting go that negative energy, because all it's doing is disrupting me, disrupting my life. It's negatively affecting me and how I'm behaving and how I look at life and how I treat myself and how I look at myself. Holding that negative energy because of what somebody else has done to me serves no purpose. Forgiveness is letting go that negative energy inside of me so that I can heal, so that I can move beyond what happened. I truly do believe in living in the now, and creating anxiety and resentment and all of that from things in the past is only going to corrupt the now. I do believe all we have is now, and we need to make the most of it. And if I'm looking at the now, if I'm looking at this situation, every single thing I look at is tainted by the pain and the resentment and the anger and the grief that I'm holding inside of me. How am I going to see beyond the anger, the resentment, the grief? How am I going to see beyond that in the moment? I'm not. I'm going to be stuck in it. I'm going to be stuck in the past, or I'm going to be stuck in the future, worried about something that may or may not even happen. So what use is it? Even if it is something that's going to happen, what use is it to get so out of your mind about it that you cannot appreciate now? There's no use. And this is, again, these are things that I'm reading, and it's not like I'm reading it, I'm like, oh okay, like I'm going to believe this. When I'm learning these things, like I read The Power of Now a couple times. I'm on my third time in the last couple of weeks. When I'm reading it, it's like it feels true. And that might sound crazy to you. I know it's going to sound crazy to a lot of people. But well, you get the idea of whatever I was just talking about. Yeah, just wanted to throw a little bit out there. I know it's been a while since I posted, but camping went great. It really allowed me to take a look at some things that I've been learning, techniques, strategies, way to handle things. And I was really able to really practice it for a lot of days straight. About 8, I think I was camping 8 days, 7 days, 8 days. So 8 days, there was 9 other people, 3 dogs. 2 of the 9 people were children under the age of 10. So there was a lot going on that allowed me to remain in the present, because if I remain in the present, my irritability goes down. Even if my ego can tell me 15 different ways of how this situation is unjust, or this situation should have gone differently, or this situation blah 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 blah, being able to just put that aside and accepting what is, accepting the situation. And I approach it this way. I have 3 options when it comes to any situation, 3 options. Or this is how I'm trying to do. These are the 3 options. 1, either change the situation, and this is a situation I'm not happy with. Or I'm starting to feel resistance to the situation, creating my own pain because I'm telling myself how unfair it is. Oh my God, I don't know what's going on with my memory today. Okay, number 1, change the situation. Speak up. Do something to try to change the situation. 2, remove yourself from the situation. Number 3, totally accept the situation. So in instances where maybe you can't change it or you can't remove yourself, your only option is to accept it. And this is, by accepting it, what it does for me is the resistance I feel to the situation, I should, or you should, or they should have, or they shouldn't have, or I shouldn't have, or they shouldn't have, it shouldn't happen. When you get that, when you feel that resistance, ugh. Oh, totally accept the situation. When I accept a situation, it all it does is takes away the pain that I'm creating for myself because I'm saying all of those words like it shouldn't have happened. So if I didn't want to change it or remove myself, that is what I had to do. And it was great. It was very, very great. I really liked it. And I am on my way home. So I will be home tomorrow. Anyways, thank you. That felt like a little longer. I'm going to check the time when I get off, but appreciate you sticking in. Today was, I don't know, different. So I hope you enjoy your day. And until next time, have a good one. There was drips on my shirt earlier. I don't know if it ever showed up in the video, if it dried. But it was, from my morning cry, because I'm still doing that. And it's not every day, but it's a lot of days. Well, not even that. It's getting less, but it's still, there are moments when it just gets me. And now it feels more like a peaceful, joyous cry a lot of the times instead of the overwhelming grief. So that's positive. Okay, I'm gonna go.